Bro, my dad, he would shoot up insulin so that he could eat more desserts. 2 heart attacks, he had a bypass, he had strokes. And his whole thought process was, I'm going to die when I'm going to die, but don't worry. The NHS is there.
What are the other areas that are affected by your poor health decisions, whether it's your food, lack of exercise, etc.? For example, sexual health.
Physical fitness is vital. People don't have stamina. You have no endurance.
That's going to affect your marital relationship with your wife. She's arguing with you about this, but actually she's just unsatisfied in the bedroom. So now your children are going to witness you having arguments. This thing branches out so far. You don't realize it. You don't see it.
Your health is the most valuable thing you have. What I say to my kids, I have this one rule, that they have to train. There's no choice. We're not going to argue about this. Get in the car, we're going. And alhamdulillah, there's no arguments, because small rules are done, the big rules follow.
Do you ever break the rule though? Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum, welcome back to another episode of Founding Fathers. Dr. Imran, I was recently at Legoland. I say recent, I think it was within the last year, maybe even 2 years. And they've got an attraction, a ride, whatever you want to call it, where you sit in a fire engine, you have to pump like this lever to get the fire engine to move from the start to the finish. Once you get to the finish, you have to get out, and then there's like a water pump, and again you have to pump, get the water out, extinguish the fire, get back in, pump the fire engine back to the start, and then you're done. Me, I'm a very competitive person, right? I was there with my son, and there was another father, and he was there with his 2 sons, and he was, out of shape, well out of shape, right? Me and Yusuf, we got in. I've told him, listen, just don't worry, I'll do the pumping. I'll hold both sides. It's just one guy on one side, one guy on the other side. I said, you just sit down. I'll deal with this, and when we get there, you can put the fire out. Yeah. We sat down. The guy said, go. I've gone straight away. Boom. Yeah. I'm just going. Ferociously. Like, I'm very competitive, when it comes to this kind of stuff. And then at the corner of my eye, I can see the other. There was a few others as well, but this one was right next to me. I could really see them, right? They really stood out. And the father's trying to do it with the kids doing it. The father's doing it. And the guy is struggling. Like, he's struggling. He's panting. He's out of breath. We've reached the end. He's not even halfway. He's not even halfway. We've put our fire out. The guy says, come back. They're still on the way.
Wow.
They've then, the guy told me, just get out early, no problem, it's fine. You don't have to go all the way to the end, just get out, walk to where the water is, do that. So he's done that, even that, he's struggling. We've come back, and we're done. He's still putting out the fire, right? They put out the fire, then he said, all right, come back in. The guy's panting, the guy's struggling. And I can see, I'm hearing the kids, I can't remember what they were calling, like Baba or whatever, but it was just like, come on, please, why? Look how fast they're going, let's go more. Okay, he's struggling. Okay, got to the point where there was a female member of staff. She had to come at the back, and she actually pushed the fire engine from the back just to give it that final push towards the end. And they came back, and I remember seeing the faces of those kids. They were looking at me. They were looking at their own father, and I don't want to make any comparison because it look like, it's one of those ones where, health is something that, we're very grateful for at the end of the day, right? It's from Allah at the end of the day. I'm not trying to, make myself sound like I'm just a very competitive person. That's all it is. Yeah. But I could see the disappointment. I could see something there in their faces. I couldn't quite pinpoint what it was, but I actually felt bad.
Yeah.
I actually felt like, what? Maybe I should have gone a little bit softer. Maybe I shouldn't have gone so competitive. It's not nice to make another father look, inferior in front of his own kids. But at the same time, I also want to look the best in front of my son, right?
Absolutely.
So I was giving him 100%. So what I wanted to ask you is, how does a father's physical ability and physical fitness shape the perception that his children have of him?
Very deep question, actually. I'll take a bit of thought, but I'm going to comment first of all on what the story that you just said, and it should be a very stark warning to all of us, because now that fire was fake. Let's make it real for a moment. Add heat, add smoke, add fear into the mix. Adrenaline's pumping, blood pressure's through the roof. Your kids are in danger, and you are unable, in a fake situation, in an imaginary situation, to save their lives. What do you think is going to happen if that was ever real? Genuinely think about that, Your job as a protector at the very baseline, at the very bottom of the rung, your baseline instinct as a father is to protect your children, to keep them alive. If you are unable to carry that out, especially in that kind of a situation, which is becoming more and more common, unfortunately. We're living in a world that is ultimately safer, but also more dangerous, and you can't save them. When my kids first came here, they stayed with me in Business Bay. We were like 30 something floor, and they arrived. It was like really late. They were super jet lagged, just completely out cold in bed, like knocked out, like you wouldn't believe. 2 a.m. the fire alarm goes off in the building. Yeah, I thought, damn, it's a legit fire alarm. Go into the corridor, no one's coming out. Typical Dubai, everyone's thinking, no, someone will deal with it. I don't know why nobody's awake. Proper fire alarm going off. I'm walking up and down the corridor. My first night in the building, so I don't even know the building. And then a guy comes out from the bottom of the corridor and he says, I think it's a real fire alarm. I said, yeah, I think it's a real fire alarm as well. So we go to the lifts, but the lifts are turned off because of fire. My brain's thinking, I've got 30 floors to go down, bro. Yeah, I have to go back to the room and I'm trying to wake my kids up. Faris, I'm proper shaking them. They're not waking up. They're like out.
Jet lag.
They are gone. Like there's no waking these kids. In my mind, I'm thinking, bro, I've got to do 30 flights with 3 kids, and one of them's heavier than me. Like Faris is big. I'm thinking, subhanAllah, how am I going to do this? That would have been like a David Goggins style feat, that honestly. And since that day, I now never book a floor that high up. It's always 5 floors or less, because I know I can do 5 floors if I had to, but I never go up above 5 floors because all the stairs, your only option is the stairs, and physical fitness matters, bro. But imagine this father's situation. If that was real, and that is why it's so important to be physically able. There was this viral video, I don't know if you saw it. I think I sent it to Imran. It's a guy getting out of the car with his kid. So he gets out of the car, puts the pram, turns around, puts his kid in the pram, and then suddenly the pram starts rolling down towards the road. So he then turns to get the pram and chase after it. He falls. He's big, chunky, big guy, just falls. And then he's fallen and he's hurt himself because he's so big. And you look at the fall, it's nothing. It's just like he's fallen over. But he can't get up now. And his kid is turtling towards this road. And another guy has to come and save his kid. And I'm thinking, but that is so common now. That is all we live in almost a third of developed nations are obese. A third, bro. Insane. We look at the numbers.
Did you know that approximately 70% of Muslim men in the UK are overweight? That's 7 out of every 10. That might even be you. And look, you've probably seen these stats or similar thrown around all over the place, and yet you've never really done anything about it. Now sure, look, you might have tried a few diets, you might have even hired a PT, done a little workout plan, and yet you're still stuck. You're unhappy with how you look in the mirror, you're too tired to play with your children, and your health is deteriorating day by day. And this is why I want to introduce you to Umar, aka the Muslim PT. Him and his team have helped Muslims all around the world lose weight and get into the best shape of their lives. Not with some crazy diet or miracle pill, but by helping them fix their decision making and the psychology behind why they keep falling off. And the craziest part, Umar has a 100% success rate with the clients that followed the plan. Like for example, brother Saeed, who lost 30 kg in just 7 months. And that while working a full-time job. So if you want to lose 10 to 20 kg, feel confident again, and take care of the amana that Allah has given you, then click the link in the description to find out more. With that said, guys, let's get straight back into the podcast, inshallah.
So in terms of how the perception, that's what kind of going back to, isn't it? What kind of perception does that leave? I mean, you experienced it, let's be honest. They saw you, they saw the dad, that disappointment, there's a serious level of anxiety that comes from this. These kids will now really struggle to reconcile the fact that our father is our protector. He's the man that's meant to look after us from harm, save us from difficult situations physically. But we've experienced this now, and he isn't capable.
Because it's true, as a child, your dad is like Superman.
He's a Superman, bro.
He's the superhero. Yeah. Like, he's the guy that's just like, he can get anything done.
You literally get chemical, you get oxytocin, literal release of oxytocin through rough play with your dad specifically. That physicality is built into our biology as fathers. It's built in. So if you're not honoring that physicality, if you're not enhancing yourself physically, you're just digressing. There's no middle ground. You know how some people say, I'm maintaining. There's no maintenance. There's no neutral. You're either always progressing or digressing physically. Yeah. The body is in a constant state of death. Your cells are receiving oxidative stress. That's why when you get older, what happens? You look older. You know, your skin cells aren't able to replicate in the same way they were when you were younger. So as you're getting older, you're literally dying. We are all in a state of death. So you can either be progressing, and bro, look at some of these 60, 70-year-old guys, you know, and it's a bit weird, but on my Instagram following side of things, I follow some of these older guys, and it's inspiring, bro. You see this guy who was 50 years old, and he had a big beard gut. Then you see him like 10 years later when he's 60, and he's ripped and he's shredded, and he's doing pull-ups and he's doing calisthenics. And you're thinking, bro, he's 60, and you look at him.
Yeah.
You know, physically, you have such respect for this guy. And you know, when you say perception, I always judge people by their appearance physically. People say, that's not good, you shouldn't do that. Well, why not? Well, let's look at characteristics of a physical specimen of a man. A man that looks after himself, looks the part, has the physical capability and strength. When he walks into a room and you first meet him, what are your perceptions of him? Straight away, you know that this guy has self-respect. No self-respecting guy, so no man who doesn't respect themselves goes to the gym because you're thinking about your appearance. His consistency. He must have shown up regularly on a regular basis to achieve a body like that. He's got dedication with hard work. It wasn't easy. You know yourself. Going to the gym, working out is not easy, especially if you want to look good. It's very hard work.
Sleep.
Oh yeah,
so many
honestly,
elements.
the physical element of working out is hard work, bro. You know, sometimes I leave the gym, like my arms, I physically can't lift them. I don't want to drive home. You know, because that's the level you have to take it to. Then, delayed gratification. This guy can wait. He's not seeing results the day after or the day after the day. He might have taken 6 months before he saw results. But he's got that delayed gratification. You know, you suddenly see the picture building just by looking how he is. He's clearly not lazy. He clearly has discipline, consistency, can stick to routine. You get all of this, you know, all of this straight away from this one thing, his appearance, physically, his physicality. So, yeah, the mind will perceive it. And kids see this. Kids instinctively see this. Yeah? Comic books, look at them. How are they all drawn? The superheroes are all big, muscular, masculine guys because the psychology lends itself to that. One way around, the other way around. Either it's the kids nowadays in this day and age that have been affected by what the Superman looks like. Big, muscly, strong guy. And now they believe that this is the bar. Or it's the other way around. The reason that they're being drawn like this is because they know that the kids instinctively will respond to these characters because they look big and muscly. Either way, the pattern is the same. Your physicality will give very positive or negative impressions to your kids, specifically.
I think even if you look at it from a spiritual angle, like, you know, your body is an amana given to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many narrations have come where, you know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the strong believer is more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. And this is strength, of course, in many different forms, strength of Iman being one of them.
Yeah.
But physical strength, no doubt, comes under it.
100%.
Like, there were how many times when the physical strength of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not put to the test, but it was put on display.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
There was, I believe, a rock that no one could smash. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and he smashed it.
Yeah.
And he was, you know, he was known for his strength.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many different examples of Sahaba, you know, Umar radiallahu anhu and his physical prowess and how that helped the Muslims in many, many, many different ways. So you really have to look at it that there is an angle of what will your children think of you, but also like, what do you think of yourself? How do you view yourself?
Exactly.
And how is this an indicator of your relationship with the deen?
Bro, self-worth is not, and bro, you know, just Islam is it's a very active religion.
Yeah.
I have to remind brothers this. I said, bro, it's not a lazy sit down. You know, what really gets to me is when people say things like, Allah is in my heart, or what I care about is the faith inside. I said, yeah, bro, it's important. But if Allah's in your heart, your head should be on the ground. Absolutely. Or, you know, these tasks, they're physically difficult for people.
Look at Hajj.
Bro.
Look at Umrah even.
Yeah, Umrah, fasting. Yeah, bro, you know, when these non-Muslims see us fasting, I could never do that, bro.
Yeah.
Really? You could never do that? I could never. It's too hard. Yeah. Just a thought of it puts these guys off. Athletes are put off by it. And so physically, you have to be capable. So. You know? Like, you know, we're everything we do, you know, our prayers, you know, the positions in Salah, you know, being able to hyperextend at the knees, flex at the hips, going down onto the ground and physically getting up from the ground, you know, from basically two limbs. There's a very specific way of doing it. Your balance has to be on point. Your strength has to be on point. Level of endurance. Because Salah can take 5 to 10 minutes, you know, if you're just doing 4 rakat. Taraweeh, bro. These kind of Qiyamul Layl, these are parts of our faith. And physicality is all part of it. Physicality is bro, I see brothers now, wallahi, it's so upsetting when you see them sitting in the masjid, sitting on a chair and praying Salah. And it's because of weight. You see how big they are. Yeah? I've got knee problems. But you're 30 years old. Why have you got knee problems? got back hurts. Bro, like you're 30, why is your back hurting? And then it's weight. It is weight. And it's lack of physicality. Absolute lack of physicality.
And the thing is, as we mentioned so many times before as well, children, they don't listen with their ears, they listen with their eyes. So when they see you and your bad habits when it comes to your diet, when it comes to lack of exercise, when it comes to lack of sleep and whatever else it might be, they're going to pick up on those habits. 100%. I don't know, are there studies that show that, I don't know, like an unhealthy parent results in unhealthy children?
I mean, it's almost comical when you look at these studies, because they hypothesize, yes, we're going to see this number of, or this percentage of children from this type of family background will be affected in this way. And they're always longitudinal studies, because they look at the kids from a 5-year point, a 10-year point, and a 15-year point. And usually they're following them through the school kind of years to see how they are at these different stages. And what we find, like, oftentimes the hypothesis is like, let's say 75 to 80% will be morbidly obese as well, because they're from morbidly obese families. The unbelievable numbers are like 90%, 95% is what they actually found, you know, where kids who are, so parents who are unable to regulate their diet, especially how much they're consuming, what happens is they're getting this dopamine release excessively from the food that they eat. Now, those habits are so easily passed down to their kids because they are directly linked to dopamine as well. It's not just like a habit of, you know, okay, my mum is speaking in a certain accent, so I'm going to pick that accent up as well. Or my mum uses a certain word, because those habits aren't linked to dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin. They're not addictive in the sense. These habits that you're passing down, you're passing addictions down to your kids, not just habits. Does that kind of make sense? I don't know if I've explained it clearly.
Your child is more likely to actually become addicted scientifically because of biological hormones in their body.
Absolutely. So you're not just passing a habit down, you're literally passing down an addiction to your child. You know, literally.
When we say it, and it just sounds so obvious, right? It's like, it just sounds like common sense.
Yeah.
So why is it that this is something that so many people struggle with?
Programming. We've been, this, you know, wallahi, Ajib, actually, I love this question. And sorry for interrupting you, because what is, I've been waiting for this question. I've been itching to talk about it, because when you told me about this this topic, I was like, you know what, let me do a little bit of research on this. Even though I knew, because how involved I've already been in this area, physical fitness in kids. I've been involved in this area for like almost, I'd say, half a decade plus now, 6-7 years now, that really involved, from my own kids to other people's kids, running classes, etc., the science of it, physiotherapy, all of it. So I've got a keen interest in this, but I thought, let me have a look at some more data. And this thing came up about schools and programming kids. Now think about it. We were, in the 1920s onwards, the emphasis on physical fitness was very high. If you look at American academies and American schools, and even the UK, very high. You know, it was very much so, physical fitness was very much part of the curriculum. You know, morning fitness specifically. You know, doing drill in the morning on the playground. Physically being capable was very part
every day.
Every day. It was a normal thing. This was norm. And there was very few cases of obesity, almost no cases of morbidly obese, unless you were from certain upper echelons of society where you had access to this kind of food. The diet was much cleaner, less processed, much healthier. Sleeping patterns were much better as well. There was a lack of devices, and jobs were very physically demanding. You know, jobs that don't really exist today, but that were very much commonplace then. Laboring, very common thing. And again, the lack of convenience in technology at that time meant generally you had to be more kind of fitter. You know, you didn't have cars that weren't as prolific as they are now. You know, livestock and horses were expensive to manage and keep. So realistically, people are always walking.
Like my grandfather, he passed away last year, Allah yarhamu. And my mum's father. And akhi, wallahi, this was one of the fittest guys that I knew up until maybe like the last 6 months of his life. He you know, things really took a turn for the worse. He was easily into his, I think, probably 80s, at least, if not maybe let's say 70s. But he used to cycle to the masjid,
mashallah,
5 times a day.
From the old school,
even to Fajr.
Uncles,
honestly, and like
mashallah,
bro, he never once. I think he had to go for a checkup or something in the last stages of his life, and something to do with his mouth. And the doctor remarked that, bro, his teeth, like he'd never seen teeth in someone this age, this clean and this mashallah. Like he never needed a filling, he just, you know, the food that they ate, as you said, unprocessed, bro. Most of it comes from the local village. Like, it is grown in the local village, right? The type of work, again, he was in the army,
mashallah,
in Pakistan, and later on in life, you know, like if you got a zameen, they call it land, and they, you know, you're involved in what's happening there. You're very active, as you said. And just that it's just a night and day difference.
Yeah.
When you look at people like that, and now what you consider, today's average Pakistan. I'm going to say Pakistani because that's what I know, right? It's my culture. Pakistani uncle who just sits around talking about politics. Belly protruding, hanging down, balding. At a very, very young age, and it's just unhealthy.
I'm bald by choice,
lazy.
by the way. Yeah, this is a fashion choice.
Say that again.
I'm bald by choice. This is a fashion choice.
Bald by choice. But my point is that these are all things that, as you said, something somewhere down the line has changed drastically.
Yeah.
And I don't think people have even realized it or woken up to it.
It's at the school phase. It's at that phase, literally, that so think about it. So they went through this early years, 1920s onwards, where physical fitness was a big part of the school regime. Then we started seeing a change happening. The change was initially in the form of food, more sugar being introduced, more unhealthy foods being introduced, processing of food. And now physical fitness is becoming less trendy. People don't want to do it anymore. It's more hard work. So it started being taken away from the curriculum. Then what they started doing was starting replacing it with subjects that really I'm not a big fan of. Things like drama, PSHE, music in school. I'm like, these are taking away from really important. Physical fitness should be one of the core subjects. Think about this, yeah. If your kid can't read English very well, they might be a little bit behind at college, at university. There's plenty of help for that. If your kid isn't great at maths, and how much maths are we using? Well, let's be honest. They might struggle a little bit with the shopping list one day. But if your kid doesn't know how to eat healthy, you're opening him up to chronic heart disease, diabetes, risk of stroke, hypertension, so many medical conditions, depression. You know how closely linked depression and obesity is. Unbelievable, bro. The correlation is just crazy. The correlation is just scarily crazy. Obesity, 40% of all cancers are directly linked back to obesity. 40%, bro. So when your kid can't regulate his food and when your kid is physically unhealthy, this is what you're opening him up to. When he can't read, when he can't do maths, when he can't play an instrument, when he can't do drama, when he can't do PSHE, what's the worst that's going to happen, bro? When he doesn't know about geography and sedimentary rocks and igneous rocks, and he doesn't know all this, what's going to happen? Nothing. We have not invested anywhere near what we should at that age. Importance of food and diet and how it should be eaten and what we should be eating. Importance of exercise. That's just not been touched enough in school. So what's the programming? I can leave school and college and maybe in university with very little education on health and fitness and integration of that in my life and be okay. That's the impression we're giving. It's fine because it's not really that important. You don't worry about it.
Focus is get a degree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Become successful, get a job. That's the main.
Yeah, become part of the system. That's what it is. So when you get to a stage when it's too late, what we call it, what are we expecting? Of course, there's going to be no want or desire or any importance placed on that subject. Because for them, it's just this is the norm. This is how it's meant to be. Whereas before, what was it? It was survival, literally survival of the fittest. If you got ill and you were physically unwell, there wasn't hundreds of antibiotics that you can just take with an IV for free, with doctors on hand who have been medically trained for 6 years plus and they know what they're doing. There was none of this. Either your body was physically capable and physically strong enough to get through these illnesses or you died. Literally. That's how it was literally survival of the fittest. And we're not talking like hundreds of years ago. We're talking this century.
Because even like jobs, you wouldn't be able, like benefits weren't the way that they are now. Like now, if you're morbidly obese, you can stay out of work and just, job seekers allowance and universal credit and all these other things.
And but they give you cars now. They're giving you free cars on certain benefits.
Because of poor lifestyle choices.
Poor lifestyle choices,
and
bro.
of course, one thing to mention as well is there is the 1% or maybe even less than 1% who are overweight or obese because of actual medical conditions.
Yes, there are. But even those medical conditions, it's on one principle. Calories in versus calories out. Even those medical conditions, it's harder. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You've got thyroid issues. There's many other conditions, let's say. It's more tougher. But that doesn't mean you take the easy route. Because that's still more disastrous for you. Now you're overweight. I can't lose any more weight because X, Y, and Z. Okay. But if you don't, you will have a heart attack and die. You still have a choice. It's harder. But if I came to you now and I said, like, no, unless you do 20 press-ups, I'm going to chop your arms off. You're going to get them 20 press-ups done. Yeah. It doesn't matter how hard it is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of what situation they're in. the choice they have to make is very hard. But they have to make the choice.
If you've been searching for an asset-backed investment with very high returns run by a very trustworthy and experienced team, I might have just the opportunity for you. You see, we've partnered up with brother Sam Amin on a real estate development project right here in the UAE. Alhamdulillah, with Allah's permission, we've been able to buy some land here and plan to develop it into an apartment block and then, of course, sell off the apartments. The expected and planned ROI is 50% within 2 years. The minimum investment amount is $100,000 and the deadline is within the next 30 days. If you're interested in this opportunity, click the link in the description, inshallah. You can book a call with brother Sam Amin directly, who's heading this project, and you can take a look at all of the documentation and projections for yourself. These kind of opportunities don't come around every day. So with that said, I'll leave the link to book the call in the description. Let's get back into the episode. You have to make the choice. I feel like an element of it also comes down to not having the consequences in front of your face. It's like, when you eat a chocolate bar, you're possibly shaving off, I don't know, let's say half an hour from your lifespan.
SubhanAllah.
Because of that, what you're eating.
Yeah.
Like imagine you had a lifespan meter, right, that you could actively see with your eyes everywhere you went. And every time you made a bad lifestyle choice, you would see the effects it's going to have on it. Like imagine you knew that if I eat this galaxy, I'm shaving off half an hour of my life. That's half an hour less I get to spend with my children.
It's a really good app idea, yeah. Legit, it's a very good app idea. We should develop this app.
You're right.
That's a sick app idea, bro. Bro, we just integrate it with MyFitnessPal.
Something along those lines.
Because people are doing that already. They're already recording what they eat.
You're right. But it's like, so it's essentially, imagine you woke up in the morning and it gave you a choice.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, which adds, I don't know, an hour to your life. And of course, look, we're talking here theoretically. Only Allah knows when you're actually going to die. Yeah. You could live the healthiest life and get hit by a piano that fell off a crane while someone was moving.
Health.
We're just purely talking from the angle of your health, because your health does have an impact on your lifespan. Absolutely. The decisions that you make. So whether it's with health or going to sleep, because I've even heard that people who work night shifts are more likely to die younger.
Yeah.
So
it's there for that.
And of course, if you have to work a night shift, you have to work a night shift. There's no two ways around it, right? I did night shift work. I won't put it in my life. But my point is, some people stay up late out of choice.
Yes.
Working a night shift is one thing. But staying up watching TV and movies and Netflix and binging on junk food, that's a complete different. That's a choice that you're making.
Absolutely.
Those 3 hours that you spend there could shave off 6 hours, could shave off a day of your life. So imagine each and every single time that you're making that bad decision, you are taking away from your children's haqq, which is the time that they're going to spend with you.
Absolutely.
If you had that, I feel like people would make the right decision so many more.
Bro, we need to make this up. You sold it, bro. An
app would be amazing. But my point is that, like,
the mentality.
There should be a mentality.
100%.
And, delaying gratification is something that
people don't hold themselves accountable. This is the issue. We are living in a society where there's zero accountability, bro. Zero accountability. It's okay. My dad, and he used to make this odd, and he used to really grind on me. He used to say, "Oh, it's okay. We've got the NHS." Bro, my dad, he would shoot up additional insulin, so that he could eat more desserts. He'd had 2 heart attacks, he had a bypass, he had strokes, he had knee problems. And his whole thought process was, I'm going to die when I'm going to die, but don't worry. The NHS is there. So he wasn't bothered about the quality of his life because he thought the quantity is fixed. My argument is always like the quality is in your control. Qadr is qadr, without a doubt. The time, the second is fixed. But how you go out, it's on you. Like my grandfather, bro, he's 104 when he died. Still walking around. Similar to your grandfather. He had a very healthy life. Bro, he had his last kid when he was 75.
My granddad on my dad's side, something similar. So like, I've got an uncle who is like almost 10 years younger than me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think he was like in his late 60s.
Mad one, bro. But these guys don't exist anymore. Do you know why? And there's a physical fitness element, 100%. But there's one also thing, it was from a very interesting study that they found in elderly people. It was a quantitative study, and specifically people that were in the 90s they spoke to. And what they found with these people was one of the main consistent factors that allowed them to have this longevity was this object or a goal or a drive to live. Like they had a reason. Like either they were still working, bro. Some of these mad guys. Some of them had mad businesses. Some of them, their missus was still alive, so they were alive for them. The Ajib one, which I always say to our youngsters to think about, watch out for these people, bro. These are the gems. Sometimes, when you try and discover Wali Allah or gems of Allah, there's no real algorithm. But let me give you a little one based on science. You think about your uncle, cycling to the masjid, or your grandfather, sorry. Cycling to the masjid at such an old age in life, more than likely his psychology, his maqsad, his purpose was very sincere at that age in life. His purpose was, I need to get to the mosque and pray my salah there. And that was potentially his drive. When you see these very old uncles that are still coming for their Fajr Salah in the mosque, bro, and they're there for every Salah, and they are the people where they have a very sincere ikhlas of goal. What is my purpose? My kids have sorted their lives. My wife's passed away. I'm living in this world for what else?
Yeah, literally, that was it.
Bro, and they literally just wake up, they'll eat their food, they'll get the Salah Qameez on, and they'll go to the mosque. And they don't even talk to people, bro. It's not even like they're going to socialize. But these are the mans that are sat in the first surf. They don't even talk to nobody. They're just there because they look, if I die, I die. But look, I'm here for my Rabb now. This is my goal in life. Their peers who had different goals, different purposes, they're all dead. But these guys are still here. These are the guys you go to Asud Waz, bro. And I see, so that mental purpose has to be there. Why am I alive?
Let's talk about some of the other effects of, again, bad lifestyle choices as fathers. What are the other areas that are affected by your poor health decisions, whether it's your food, lack of exercise, etc.? For example, sexual health, right?
Massively.
Absolutely, it is affected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just directly connected. I mean, people all turn testosterone and we're going to take this therapy and that therapy. Only 4% of all sexual health problems are linked to low testosterone.
Wow.
4%, bro. And the first thing everyone knows is TRT. We do TRT, by the way, but we always encourage other things. Physical fitness is vital. People don't have stamina. They have no endurance. Bro, they can't walk up the stairs without going, like literally. Jiu-jitsu is going to be interesting today because we're going to see the endurance of people. We're going to see what real endurance is like, And this is a very good exercise. By the way, if you need to pick an exercise, pick jiu-jitsu or wrestling. Yeah?
Why?
One is very functional. I always tell people, function over just blind sport. Pick something that's going to be useful. Yeah, if it's got a dual purpose, like it's fitness and it's self-defense, then great, do that. It's functional. Now, number two, it really, really pushes your cardio in a very different way. It's a very functional cardio. Some people can run for miles and miles and miles and miles. You put them in the pool, they puff out after 2 laps. Yeah, it's a different type of cardio. Different muscles are being activated. Jiu-jitsu is very much all round, under pressure. You're building a very resilient type of cardio. So the cardio from jiu-jitsu is really good. Okay. And actually, it's actually cognitively beneficial as well. They did a study in young boys, okay? There's specifically young boys that did this in, and it was between the age of 6 and 12.
Okay.
What they looked at was IQ levels based on certain sports that they were taking. They looked at boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, these sports. In jiu-jitsu, they found something really interesting. These kids that were doing jiu-jitsu 1 to 3 hours a week were almost 20% ahead of their peers in all metrics of all exams that they were doing.
Wow.
Yeah. And they kind of hypothesized the reason for it. And what they said was that when they were being choked out, when they were being choked out, a lot of pressure was being placed on these neck muscles, the structures around the neck. So angiogenesis was happening. New blood supply was being developed into the area to build and make these areas stronger, which meant more blood supply to the brain.
Wow.
Which meant more oxygenation of the brain, which meant more intelligence, essentially.
I mean, one thing comes to my mind as well is jiu-jitsu. It's not just physical.
It's not just physical.
There's a huge element of
thinking,
intelligence that's required. Like you need to know
on the spot.
Yeah, if someone sprawls, when you go for a takedown, how to get behind him, how to get around him. You got to try different things. It's very like you're constantly making decisions and using your brain power. Like people think it's
just beyond that. There was a similar with the same. The organization escapes me. Instead of coming to me, but the same organization did a very similar study. They had a control group of just kids having this one exam, same demographic, same set of kids, same general results from previous exams. So the IQs and the abilities were very similar. Those kids, what they did was 30 minutes before the exam, went for a rigorous walk. Yeah, I think it was a 20-minute walk. They came back. These kids needed 30% better than these kids. Wow. The difference between passing and failing at lower grade and a higher grade, based on what? A 20-minute walk. Imagine that. Imagine before your exams, your GCSEs are coming up, you're stressed, your adrenaline spiking, you're nervous. Don't worry. Let's go for a quick brisk walk. Yeah, automatically, according to the data, improve your results by 20 to 30%.
And I don't know, you might have told me if this is related or not, or what backs this up. But even me, like for example, like I remember there was a time when I was memorizing the Quran, and I used to go to the gym and I used to do cold plunge. So one day I don't know, it came to my mind, I'm going to do this, and I did it. Was I said to myself, I'm going to get into the cold plunge, and I'm going to recite that page that I've just learned from beginning to end. If I make a mistake, I have to go back to the start, and I can't get out until I finish. So those 2 pages that I did, it was like for like a week or 2 that I did that. Yeah. Even though sometimes you get busy and you don't go back to your memorization, and then you forget certain parts. Those 2 pages, I've never made a mistake or forgotten.
Subhanallah.
Because it's like, and even I remember reading about this in a book. I think it was one of these SAS guys, right? And he was just talking about how when they do your training, a huge part of the first stage is just pure physical. They call it beasting, right?
Yeah,
where they just destroy you physically.
Yeah.
And then part of the reason why is because they want to weed out, the guys that aren't physically fit and strong. But also then when they actually come to then teaching you, because you're so physically broken and now you're having to learn and focus and give attention, he said, bro, like when we get into actual situations where we're under pressure, we're getting worn down and everything, that's when we actually come back stronger, because it's like that's when we were taught. That's when we were trained when we were smoked. So when you smoke me and you think, we've got him on the run now, their morale's going to be low and they're going to be weak and they're going to be tired. Because that's when our training actually kicks in. That's how we were trained. So is there a correlation between learning under physical, because I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, there wasn't learning involved. You said about they went for a walk for their exam. But I feel like there is an element of physical hardship brings about mental clarity and learning.
Quite literally. Yeah, quite literally. Biologically speaking, absolutely. There's a couple of things. So the first thing you do, you create more oxygen pathways to the brain. So there's far more oxygen now, flooding the brain. From physicality. Then what you do, you actually make the synapses between neurons easier. So what exercise also does is, because you're firing muscles and you're firing nerve centers, your synapses are now faster. And then what it additionally does, it creates new neural circuitry in the hypothalamus, which is the learning center of the brain. So physical exercise will create new neural circuits in the hypothalamus, which is due to exercise and physicality. So we're not just talking, so psychologically speaking, biologically, there are systems in the body that directly link physical activity to learning and mental health, essentially, or mental well-being, literally.
SubhanAllah. And there's so many other ripple effects, right? So for example, let's just say sexual health becomes a problem because of your health. That's going to affect your marital relationship with your wife. You might start having issues with your wife, which a lot of people don't realize. Sexual dissatisfaction is a cause for a lot of other issues to happen within the relationship.
Absolutely.
She's arguing with you about this, but actually she's just unsatisfied in the bedroom. So now your children are going to witness you having arguments in your bad relationship. And there's so many layers and levels, and that's going to cause anxiety in your children, and they're going to, suffer. This thing branches out so far and you don't realize it, you don't see it. And again, I feel like that's one of the reasons why people in this day and age make such bad choices, is because they just don't see immediately what the negative effects are going to be. In fact, immediately you only see cons of good choices. If you decide to not eat that chocolate, your stomach's going to go hungry. Your nafs is going to be crying out. It's going to be hard. If you eat it, you get that dough straight away. Tastes nice,
isn't it almost comical how in this world of abundance that we live in, your next meal is coming and it's probably going to be better than the meal that you just had. We live in a world of abundance, bro. We know that, alhamdulillah, we've never starved, we never will starve, and may Allah save us from starvation. But we know this. Our desire for that chocolate bar isn't diminished. We still want that chocolate bar.
So,
it's going to satiate. What is that? Is it a hadith, bro, when it says the only thing that will fill the stomach of Adam is the dirt of the grave?
I'm not 100% sure. Possibly.
I'll have to check it. But I think it's either a hadith or a wise saying. But either way, the statement in and of itself stands that nothing will fill the stomach of Adam or the son of Adam except for the dirt of the grave. Because we're never satisfied, bro. If I give you a jar now and it had 999 pounds, you would want to get it to 1,000.
So,
Then when you get that 1,000, you'd want 2,000.
so.
You know, we're never satiated. And you know, when it comes to food specifically, it's, you know, isn't it crazy, bro? It's one of the maddest addictions in the world. Food. Like something that you would think is so necessary to your life can cause so much destruction. You have zero control over it, you know?
And I feel like a lot of it comes down to having a blind trust that if it's on the shelf, it must be at least of a certain level. Like, surely they wouldn't put something that's like poisonously bad
The
for my
guys
body.
in charge have authorized and allowed this to
Yeah,
be
it's been regulated, you know, it's been approved. There's a governmental body that checks these things and makes sure, you know, I'm not living in a third world country where, you know, they have to eat, you know, scraps from the, but you don't realize what you're eating. And all these, like, if you look at the ingredients, there's 70 different ingredients in a chocolate bar.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
What the hell is in this, bro? And if I ask you, like, if you were to do an experiment, I said, close your eyes, open your mouth, and I'm going to put random things in your mouth and you have to eat them.
Yeah.
Would you do it? Absolutely not. No. I could put a mouse in there, bro, like, you know. But you do that every day when you're buying these foods with all these different ingredients. And by the way, one thing I want to make clear here, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Like, I have my moments of weakness. And sometimes my moments of weakness, when I go dark, I go dark. Like, I'll binge eat the most nastiest stuff.
Oh, no.
I'll feel so bad about it after. But I'm human. You know, we have it. And my thing is, this is what I say to everyone, just don't bring junk food into the house.
100%.
If it's in front of me, I'm going to struggle.
Absolutely.
So my thing, just don't even bring. That's why, like, my mom came recently, innit? So she came after a long time. So she came with those, you know, UK snack, you know, sensations, crisps, Thai sweet chili, which you can't get, but, and there's only a few certain shops here, right? But having, like, putting systems in place to block these things out in the first place is so effective. But then when someone comes again, like, you know, you can't say no to mum, brings a, you know, box of celebrations into the house, and I'm there like, oh, bro.
But you know what I will say to that, mashallah, you're in shape. The rules don't apply to everybody, bro. In the nicest way possible. If someone is blessed with a faster metabolism, they can eat junk and not put on weight, that's fine. That's their blessing. If you've been cursed, like for example with me, I put on weight very fast. And I love bread. It's the worst combination.
Okay.
I love bread. Like a loaf of bread where I can just demolish that there, no problem. Honestly, it's crazy. And I put on weight fast. It's the worst combination. But for me, it's just a case of, man, just don't eat the bread. You're gonna, you have to. It's harder for me, but it is what it is.
But how? This is a question I want to come to. Like, there's a dad that's watching this right now. He feels terrible. He feels like, I've made all the wrong decisions. I am overweight. You know, I want to live a healthier life. Where does he start?
It's a very good question, you know.
Because I feel like the starting point has to be here. It's not even about here. It's not even about the stomach. It's about the mind.
You know how they start, bro? They download our app. That's how they start first, yeah?
Until the app comes into play. Like,
you know what, you start simple. Start really simple. One of the things I say to a lot of dads, I say, like, what things should you be doing is a must in your life right now that you're missing, that you're not doing? There are things that right now, because of the way you are, your physical weight or your lack of fitness or your injuries that you've had because of your lack of activity, whatever it is that's keeping you sedentary, what are the things that you should be doing right now? So examples come to mind. So for example, first one I'd say Salah. Yeah, bro, you know how many people miss Salah just because they are physically lazy or physically incapable? Genuinely, bro. You ask them, I'm just tired, bro. Tired of what? Sitting. Like lack of physicality is taking people away from Salah, bro. Away from Salah. Yeah? So that's the one major one I say. Number two, just simple walks with your kids, simple activities around the house with your kids. How much of that you're actually doing? Or are you just letting them sit there on their iPads? Yeah? Let's say, for example, I would just start on the very basics like that. Then I would say, okay, look at your day-to-day activities. How often are you going up and down the stairs? Yeah. When you're going to the bathroom, is it easy for you? Is it hard for you? When you're getting in and out of bed, you know, is it easy for you? Is it hard for you? If you fell on the floor right now.
You mean physically or mentally?
Physically.
Because there's guys that are physically fit, able to get out of bed, but mentally they're just...
I mean, mentally, that's the whole different problem. But physically speaking, like when people tell me they're 35 and, oh, bro, I'm getting out of bed. And I'm making all this noise. I'm like, bro, you're like, why? You should be like spring chicken out of bed at 5 in the morning, bro. No problems. Your physicality should be at least that much. It shouldn't be a problem at all. Like, and people look at me like, bro, is this guy for real? I'm like, why is that the weird? Why is that not the standard?
So
why is that the weird one? Because that's what we did for thousands and hundreds of thousands of years. All our ancestors did. They stepped on the floor, they got up, and they went and looked for their food, hunted. They found their food, they foraged it, whatever, and they physically cooked it, and they ate what was necessary, and then they preserved the rest for the next meal.
The point you made about the devices and iPads is so important, because what's the number one reason why a lot of parents will give their children iPads and devices, etc., is because they can't themselves give them the time.
Yeah.
That might be down to, as you said, laziness. Like, imagine, because, bro, let's keep it real. Playing with children, especially young children, is tiring.
It's tiring, bro.
There's times where I come home from work and I'm, drained, and I have to come home and play with my kids. Because if I don't do it, what's the alternative?
Yeah.
Like, they need to play with their.
They're gonna want stimulation somewhere else,
and especially with the dad, but they want that physical, rough and tough, rough and tumble play where they want to be dashed around, wrestling and fighting, and that takes its toll, and that requires physical exertion. And if you're unable to even do that without getting tired, without if you're not even able to do it in the first place, let alone forget about getting tired, you're already too tired to even start.
Yeah.
What kind of emotional impact that can have on your child?
Yeah.
How's that going to affect their development? Not having that play with, and as you said, there's so many scientific proofs and facts behind it that at the end of the day, if they're not getting that playtime with their father, that bonding, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect your relationship with them. It's going to affect their own relationship. It's going to affect, their mental health, their confidence, their anxiety. All these things are going to come into play just because you were out of shape as a father.
You know, the ajib thing is, we're normalizing this nowadays as well. I saw these these mannequins in one of these department stores. Normally the mannequins look like they're in good shape, but this was a dad bod mannequin. So the guy, the mannequin had a fat belly, and this polo neck was pulled over him, and he just looked horrific.
That's mad.
But like, this is being promoted now.
Body positivity and all of this nonsense.
Save your kids from this nonsense. So as a father, look, start basic. If there's something that you should be doing 100%, start doing it, bro. Start praying your salah. Start going on walk with your kids. Walk them to school, drop them off every now and then. Just start basic, simple. Yeah. Start doing a few chores around the house if you have to get active again, physical again. Then I would say actually get yourself measured up. Get your metrics measured. Get your weight checked. Get your height checked. Blood pressure. Because you need a few of these metrics to check. Yeah. Get all of this checked. It's not hard work, bro. You're going to check. It's physically not going to be killing you. But get these numbers. Heart rate. All of this stuff. Now you've got some numbers. Ask yourself, are those numbers normal? More than likely they're not. You're out of range and everything. Start working on them very, very slowly. Very, very, very slowly.
Why? Why not get stuck into the deep end straight away?
Because you potentially can injure yourself. You can probably cause more harm than good. If your body has been sedentary for a very long time, jumping straight in, literally look at your body like a car. I say to everybody, this is my analogy every single time because it always works. Your body, you have to literally look at it as a car. If you let your car sit in the garage for a year, come back to it and you just start putting your foot down, first gear, second gear, boom, 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 revving gear, pressing the brake, you're going to cause some sort of damage. Yeah, you do warm the car up, let it settle back in, drive it a little bit, get it warmed up, stop the brakes seizing up and all these things. And now, you can let it rip when you're ready. But same with the human body. You probably got lack of collagen in your system, lack of the right minerals, the vitamins. You probably got stiffness in your joints, tight muscle. There's so many kind of issues that can potentially arise from just jumping straight back into it. So pick the small battles, win those small battles. Because every time you win that, mentally it's a win.
How do you implement that when it comes to food? So like, for example, someone's got a history of very bad diet in terms of quality of food, but also in terms of quantity of food. Should it be, look, instead of going straight to, cabbage 5 times a day, just eat the same food, but just eat less?
So
start off with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say when it comes to dieting, again, I look at dieting more from a psychological perspective. There's 3 things you look at, okay? First of all, you look at when, then you look at what, and then you look at how much. Yeah, so when, what, and then how much. So the when you're looking at the when, is just stick to what you're eating, just change the timings a little bit. So let's say, for example, you miss breakfast, have a really small lunch, and you have a massive evening meal followed by snacks. Flip that around. Have a really big breakfast, have some mid-morning snacks, have a decent-sized lunch, have a really small dinner, and then don't eat anything after that. You're getting the same calories in. Mentally, you're just doing a shift of the timing. The same food as well. All you're doing is shifting the timing so that your body is actively burning those calories. Okay? That's the first stage. The second stage, again, this works because we've seen the studies that show that this type of thinking works. It's a mental process. The next part that you look at is you look at what. So you're eating a certain amount of food. Yeah? You just pick a couple of alternatives. Keep the same amount, but change the alternative. So instead of, I don't know, like chicken, go for turkey. Instead of potatoes, go for sweet potatoes. instead of, I don't know, rice, pick quinoa
rice.
or
Even
no,
brown
no,
rice.
yeah, even brown rice, yeah, but something less calorific. Instead of I don't know, oils and things like that. Maybe use something like butter, yeah, tallow or
ghee.
butter, yeah, ghee.
Are
these
there
kind of
any
things.
foods where, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
where it should be like, if you're eating this, bro, just, that you have to cut out straight away? Or drinks? Is there anything?
Sugar?
Sugar.
Just cut sugar out. Keep it really simple. Just cut sugar out.
Like fizzy drinks and...
Yeah, anything with sugar in, just cut it out.
What about stuff like fizzy drinks that have zero sugar?
Yeah, so they have aspartame in there. Aspartame has directly been shown to reduce testosterone. So if you wanted to have aspartame, that's great, but your testes are going to go crush. Yeah, so anything with sugar, just avoid it. There's plenty of alternatives.
But you can have like sugar in fruits and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That
that's
kind of
okay.
sugar's fine.
Yeah, natural sugars are fine. But yeah, just cut the sugar out. Definitely. If you have to pick one thing, just the sugar, cut that out.
Eat like chocolates and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get rid of
But it's
that.
got sugar in it, cut it out.
Cut it out.
Yeah. So first one was when, then the what, and then it's how much. So once you've got the alternatives, then now you look at your portion control. Okay, I've mastered when I'm eating. I've mastered what I'm actually eating. Now let's look at the portions, because I need calories, reduce the calories that are coming in versus the calories that I'm burning out. That's it. That is your formula. What? So when, what, how much? That's it.
How do you stay consistent on it? And if I'm a bit honest and a bit vulnerable here, this is one thing that I struggle with the most. Mine isn't, I struggle not losing weight, I struggle to put on weight. That's a target that I have, right?
Right, okay.
So I will be going to the gym super consistent, let's say like 3 months. I've never got past, I think, 85 kg on a bench press. So I'll start like 50-ish, then go up 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85. And then something will happen, and I'll get busy with something else.
Yeah.
Or, and recently I started paddle. Now I've replaced the gym. I do a little workout.
Yeah.
I've got a pull-up bar and a few other things, dips as well at home. But it's not the same as going to the gym, right? Or, I'll travel and, it'll throw me off my routine, and then, I'll come off of it. And likewise with diet, like I'll be super on it, and, something will happen. And then, you slip one thing, or what, cool, I'm going to the UK, mom's made me fried this, or, they're giving out chocolates, or, my sister's made the dessert. Let me just do it. Like,
Yeah.
Or something, even something small, like, I'm on the plane. They'll give you a whole plate, and I'm like, if I don't eat this, it's gonna go to waste. Whereas when it's my own choice, I just want to order it.
Yeah.
Right? How do you stay long-term consistently? Because I feel like, look, people watching this, and this happens all the time, right? You watch a podcast or you hear something, you do something, and it ignites something within.
Yeah.
But a week or two later, the flame's extinguished.
Yeah.
How do you keep the flame burning?
I'll give you a mental way.
Because I feel like it is all mental. And that's what it comes down to.
You know what helped me? Physically, what helped me? I worked on the gastro wards for like a year.
What's that?
The gastrointestinal wards, the stomach problem wards. So people have stomach problems, like ulcers and liver problems, kidney problems, and all that kind of stuff.
In the wards,
In the wards, in the hospital,
NHS.
in hospital for like a year. And my rotation before that was the cardiac team, so working on the cardio wards, so the heart patients. And bro, that scared me. Like, you suddenly realize that, wow, like, you are finite. And all the stuff that you're putting in your system is putting you at risk of all of these issues on a serious. And when you're around it day in, day out, it makes it very real for you. Okay? You need to treat your body with this real mindset of it's finite, it's dying. You need to, if I give you a nice car, say, look, here's a new Lambo for you, okay? You're going to make sure you're getting it serviced, the tires are being checked, but you won't even let anyone eat in that car because you're so paranoid they might damage your upholstery or your seats or whatever. Yeah? You're being very careful with it. Why? Because it's valuable to you. You need to value your health. This is it. Mentally speaking, this is the issue. We don't hold the same priority and value for our health. You know what I always say to my clients, and this kind of it's almost becoming like a tagline of mine. I say to them, you are coming to me with the most valuable thing that you have. If I said to you now, I'm going to give you 10 million pounds, but tomorrow you get diabetes, are you going to take that 10 million?
No.
So you know how much your health is worth to you. So when you come with me, when you come to me with your health.
1 second, 10 million. How bad is diabetes?
It can mess you up, bro. Diabetes can kill you. You can lose limbs. You can go blind from diabetes.
Yeah.
Not worth it, bro. But there's a value, isn't it? So when you come to me and you bring your health to me, you're coming to me with the most valuable thing you possess. That amana to me is huge. Like it's immeasurable. So I'm sat there thinking, okay, this guy's come to me with such a big amount, such a big trust, his health. I take it seriously, diligently, with integrity. I need to be able to do these things. So in the same way, you need to treat your body like that.
So
Your health is the most valuable thing you have. It overrides everything. You know, you can make as much money as you want. Speak to my guy Steve Jobs. Ask him how he felt. You know, when he couldn't eat. He had,
what happened to him?
well, he died, didn't he? He had that cancer of the throat, I think it was, and he couldn't eat towards the end. And
Fun.
he had this thing. There was this post about him offering, like, I can't remember, some ridiculous amount for someone to make a sandwich for him that he could eat. But you know, he was a what was he, trillionaire? No, he was he was definitely a billionaire when he died.
Billions, yeah.
But you know, look at how he passed away because his health deteriorated at such a young age. Money was nothing to him. Money couldn't do anything for him. So ultimately, you have to learn and force yourself to really understand and believe that your health is the most important thing you have. Why are you risking it? Like, if you know, someone comes to you like, oh, bro, let's have a burger. Now, you have a choice. You can say no to the burger or you can eat the burger. If someone came to your car and said, bro, let's scratch your car. You're like, no, just leave my car alone. It's expensive. When someone says to you, bro, have a burger, your response should be, bro, like, don't damage yourself and don't damage me as well.
But how do you keep that value proposition front and center? Because as you said, it's so easy for that to just disappear when you just fall into the, the rat race of life.
Exactly the same way as you would do it for anything else. So, for example, when we are trying to become more religious, when we're trying to become someone that goes to the masajid more, prays more, where do we go? We find brothers, we find a group of people who resonate with us in the same way. Think about why we're in the cave. These are business individuals who also want to connect through Islam. It's a bit of a niche, but at the same time, that's why we're all here. Same resonation. We all resonate.
7 to 9 figure Muslim
Yeah,
entrepreneurs.
there's that resonating factor.
Investors.
You want to now improve your health. You need to find brothers. You need to find people who are resonating the same way as you. Go to the gym. Go to MMA clubs. Go to Thai boxing clubs. Go to jiu-jitsu clubs.
What if people feel like social anxiety, like I'm fat, I'm unfit? People
Then
are
you will
going
die.
to look at me. People are going to say, oh,
You will literally die. Like, I know it sounds, this is the part that people think, oh, it's so mean. Like, facts don't care about your feelings. The numbers are showing us time and again that, bro, 40% of all cancers linked to obesity. Like, I'm telling you, these are numbers, bro. These are there. These are numbers that are there for you to see black and white. That should scare you and think, boy, I don't want to become obese because I'm making myself so much more like available to cancer, essentially. So when I say to people like they're gonna get anxiety and they have I'm too introvert and I'm nervous about people. Well, what's the alternative? The alternative is you die. You will put on so much weight and you will become so unfit and your heart will become so unhealthy that you may actually die from your condition. If that isn't enough to scare your anxiety down a little bit and get you into the gym, then what are you gonna do? Okay, then don't find some brothers. You are now on your own because you're too nervous, you're too anxious. Start standing up and sitting down 100 times a day. Start doing squats. You know, people say, I don't have access to the gym. You don't need the gym. You can go for a walk. My legs hurt, I can't walk. Well, sit down and use your arms. You will burn calories doing this. Get a pair of boxing gloves. You will burn calories. I guarantee you will burn calories. Yeah?
Even there's some brothers, like, find a way to make it fun. Like, there's a brother that I know recently started playing paddle. I think he said, like 4 kg in a month. Just from playing paddle. And paddle's not even like a very intensive sport where it's like...
Well, it is, bro. I used to say it wasn't. I think it is now.
Yeah, I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
Depending on how you're playing, it can be.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's also very beginner friendly. Like, you can get into it. It's not like tennis where you have to, like, in order to even play a rally in tennis, you have to have a level of, intense training. And this. Paddle's very beginner friendly. You can get started, have a very fun time, mess around. It's very competitive as well. You get enjoy. But you don't realize it. Like, you know what? It can be intense cardio, but you don't realize, you don't realize feel it as much.
Yeah. For kids in particular, up to the age of 5, what the studies show, up to the age of 5, you do very much play with them. The fitness that they do, and again, what's the benchmark? People say, how much should they be doing? You know, when we look at, again, studies, what do we say? 60 minutes a day minimum. There's no rest days. They eat, they sleep, they go to the toilet, they work out. There's no rest days. It's 60 minutes a day of vigorous activity. But it can be through play. After that, after the age of 5, what we then say
is it the same for boys and girls?
For boys and girls, the same. What we then say is we then put them to team style sports because the competitive nature, the comparison with their peers, all of these progress them. Yeah, it actually helps them. The camaraderie, all of these things. So you put them to team sports. as they get older, from that stage onwards, so then you look at more specialized sports. What are they good at? Someone's good at climbing, someone's good at swimming, someone's good at, marathons, someone's good at weightlifting. You put them more directed to what they'd be potentially good at. As they go into the teenage years, the body's developing a bit more, they'll develop their specification towards their sport. But sport is by far one of the best ways to develop this.
And the thing is, you as a father, for you to even know which one to get your son into, which one's actually good, you need to do it yourself.
You should yourself.
Same way, like if you want your son to be a hafiz, brother, pick up the Quran and start memorizing yourself, because
doubt, man.
he will learn from you.
Yeah,
you know,
without a doubt.
That's not to say that if you're not doing it, you can't encourage your kids to do it. You should, absolutely. Yeah. But my point is, like, how will you know what paddle is like, or if they should do paddle or tennis if you haven't tried? How will you know? You know, like, you need to be very active. You need to be the one, arranging, let's go hiking, let's do swimming, let's do fishing, let's do all these different activities and get them very active and involved. Yeah. Because, you could fob them off and send them to someone else and say, look, like, go to that club and they'll deal with a football club or whatever else it might be. But you don't know what potential harms you're opening them up to. Like, how many times you hear about, football coaches. I'm not saying this, like, but they end up being sexual predators.
Absolutely, yeah. And you should be responsible primarily for your kids' physicality, not just somebody else.
Yeah, like don't just abdicate it. And you can delegate certain parts. Absolutely. You're going to need a coach for that specializes in this for this. No problem. There has to be a lot of vetting and trust that you have to have. But my point is, overall, you're still the head teacher.
Yeah, 100%.
You're still the supervisor. You're still responsible. At the end of the day, if something goes wrong, it's on your neck. So
I always take my kids into the woods whenever I can. Any opportunity. And bro, like from a very young age, these kids are resilient in the woods. But we're building fires, we're cooking fish in the woods, we're cooking baked potatoes in the woods. Like, bro, once I can remember I took my daughter, and she was like 5 at the time. Yeah, bro, she jumped into this lake and she's swimming in the lake. And I'm panicking, thinking, bro, I can swim, but I'm not that good. But she's just in it, bro, like just going for it. And she, this is physicality with kids.
Bro, swimming is one of those things. Bro, it will humble you.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, I took swimming lessons early this year. It was only like 6 lessons. Because I could always swim, but I didn't have like a proper technique.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't doing the actual proper swim the way you meant to, one, like I would just be doing free through, but I could get from one side of the pool to the other, right? But I didn't have the same. I'm doing these lessons. Bro, I felt like a retard. The guy's telling me kick your legs. I'm saying, bro, I'm kicking my legs. He's like, no, kick your legs more. Bro, I'm going 100%. I am kicking. He's like, bro, only one leg's coming out of the water. I said, nah, both my legs are. And he's like, nah, it's not working. He's like, bro, put your head down. And it's like, you have to do so many things. You have to keep your head down and your chin, and at the same time, remember to this, like, you have to remember like 5, 6 different things at the same time. And bro, you're just getting out of breath so easily. And you just feel like, bro, honestly, you feel like a retard. Yeah. But it's one of those things you have to do, man. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Nothing will train your body as a whole, in my personal opinion, the way swimming does.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Everything.
It's something I always recommend to my clients. Swim.
It's next level.
And it's a very good sport in terms of, it's not high impact on the body in terms of it doesn't hurt your joints, it doesn't have that, the same way as running and all these other things do. It's very good on your joints. For longevity, swimming is definitely one of the best.
Bro, honestly, anyone, I recommend it. And don't be, like, because I can't lie, there was an element of me who was like, bro, this is embarrassing. I'm 28 years old. And I'm going for a swimming lesson. Like kids take swimming lessons. This is, But at the end of the day, bro, again, you got to decide. Choose your heart. Like, cool. When I actually did it, I was like, bro, that was just irrational fear. Like, the coach was absolutely normal. Like, he had no issues, whatnot, blah. Like, sometimes we just make these things in our minds. But everyone has it. No one's perfect. You think sometimes you might watch us and think, oh, these guys are, doing they're all angels. Okay, you don't know the struggles that we have.
You don't know, bro.
And you don't know like the whether it's a physical issue or a mental issue. So for me, that doing the swimming, I was like, bro, this was so silly. I should have done this ages ago.
Did you get your swimming certificate?
They didn't give me a certificate. No, I should ask for
that badge, that swimming badge,
or a badge or something. Yeah. No. But alhamdulillah, by the end of it, the sense of achievement you feel when you've got the technique and you're actually doing it. Yeah. Bro, it was crazy. But one thing I will say that's connected to all of this is being healthy isn't cheap.
Yeah, well, it's not.
People want to say, "Oh yeah, no, like you guys are encouraging people, to make money and this and this and this." One of the reasons is because, bro, like all of these things,
you got to invest in your health.
Require money.
Yeah, of course. It's an investment in your health.
And let's just say, for example, you're sitting there saying, "Oh, you know what? I can't afford it. I'm not a businessman. I just work a regular salary or this and that." bro, look at your monthly bank account statement. How much money are you spending on takeaways?
Yeah.
How much money are you spending on new trainers? How much money are you spending on new clothes? How much money are you spending, on things that you can easily cut out?
Yeah.
Cut out your coffees and your little drinks and your little snacks. And, bro, I think it was like last year? No, I think it was the year before. And me, I'm not a penny watcher. Like, I don't really count money. Like, I literally will use my card until it declines. Yeah. Honestly, like, there have been times my card's declined and it's very embarrassing. And then I obviously have to go open the app and find another one and move some things around and do some stuff. But I don't really like watch the account like that, right? Yeah. But I remember there was one time, like, I just, let me just I was doing, like, I just wanted to see, like, what are my financials, right? So I must have just made a spreadsheet, put my month's expenses into it. I broke it down. I was spending just over £1,000 a month on talabat.
On talabat?
It's just like takeaways.
How?
Like eating. Bro, I don't even know.
That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot of money, bro.
How much do you mean? That's a lot.
On talabat, bro.
50 quid, like 50, 20, that's almost like 30, 35 pounds a day, bro.
And bro, it would be just on like, it would be impulse things, like on because like I said, I can eat a lot and not put on a lot of weight.
Lucky,
my metabolism is quite fast.
So lucky, bro. Wallahi, so lucky.
I might just like be there working and I think, you know what? I feel like having a burger.
You know what the danger for you is, Akhi? That will turn off.
Yeah.
And then you're going to struggle, Akhi.
Yeah, it's already started turning. It's already started becoming less. But alhamdulillah, like I said, overall, I'm quite conscious of health and, like, I do, generally speaking, I'll avoid carbs wherever possible. Yeah. I do have I eat a lot of fruit. One thing that's big for me that, alhamdulillah, always has been number one for me, that's always helped me a lot, is I don't drink fizzy drinks. I never have from a child. I think when I was very young, I had an incident where I drank it, and I don't know, it came back up and it went through my nose and my mouth. And, since then, I was just put off. And I don't even enjoy it. It's not even from a health perspective.
Yeah, you just don't enjoy it.
I just don't enjoy it. Fizzy drinks, I don't drink hot drinks, coffee, tea. Like, Saturdays is probably the only day I do because we've got all these podcasts and like sometimes I'm just so shattered because I'm up from Fajr and I usually have a nap midday because we're recording. I don't get to have a nap. So I'll drink a coffee, just a single espresso and I'll just treat it as medicine. But I don't drink hot drinks. For me, it's just water and juice, smoothies. That's all I drink. So that's been something that's really, really been good for me. And I just feel like, alhamdulillah, I can get away with a lot. But coming back to it, my point is that when I realised that, actually, I felt disgusted, bro. Not because of just what I was eating. Like sometimes, I'd get I'd buy, you can get like chocolate strawberries.
Yeah.
Or on Talabat, late night. It got to so bad where I'd open the app and Talabat would already say, they got it pre-ready for me. They said, do you want your usual? Like, and they got everything again. And even the little comment that I would put where I'd say, can you replace the pineapples with extra strawberries? Yeah. Like, this be a fruit cup.
Yeah.
And my mind's like, it's healthy. But then, brothers, white chocolate, just, sprinkled all over it. So, but then when I realized how much money I'm actually spending on this stuff, I was just like, bro, that's mad. And if I'm not mistaken, I think my family wasn't even in the country for half of that month. So I was like, bro, that was literally all me. Like, I can't even blame anyone else, When I realized, like I said to you, bro, I was just like, this is mad, bro. I deleted the app.
Wow.
I downloaded it again after because you need to. But my point is, sometimes you don't realize how much money you're actually spending on these things. Bro, and there was things like, when I did it, I realized, there's subscriptions for things that I thought I'd cancelled ages ago. Yeah. Like, I'm spending like £100 a month on different subscriptions that I'm not even using anymore. Wow. I didn't even realize that I was still paying for. So just doing that audit, going through it, it puts a perspective like, wow. So I guarantee you can find savings within your current budget that will allow you to then spend on things like a gym membership, Muay Thai gym or whatever else it might be, or even just healthier food. Because let's be honest, healthy food is expensive.
And that's why I say, look, you got to start somewhere. If you can't afford it, you can do things to start going until you can afford it. I mean, living a healthy lifestyle consistently at a higher level, where you've got a gym membership, you've got meal plan, funds, you've got the money for a personal trainer, let's say, even you can spend on recovery, you can spend on supplements, you can do all these things. Fantastic. Yeah, that is expensive. It's not cheap, but then at that stage, you're taking your health seriously. So you're going to spend. You'll find a way or the other. Did you hear about that French bodybuilder that was homeless?
No.
These guys were ripped, So his guy was homeless and he was entering bodybuilding competitions. Like, he was actually homeless. The money he was being given, he would beg on the streets. But he was buying protein powder with his money, yeah? And the way he set up the way he was working out every day, he had these straps hung over the lamppost. and he was doing calisthenics on his straps, bro. And he had his one bar, and he was using that for certain bicep curls and chest press and stuff. And bro, it's fascinating. Homeless, and he's making it work to the point where he is going onto bodybuilding shows.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
This is my point. Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's a will, there's a way.
At a more reasonable, consistent level, yes, it can be expensive, but starting off, it's not. You could definitely do it.
And you can make 101 excuses for anything.
Yeah,
we were talking about this
absolutely.
earlier about people say, oh, well, that Muslim country is doing this and that Muslim country is doing this and this and this. And you can find an issue with every single Muslim country, but ultimately the question is, well, are you looking to move somewhere that's better? Yes or no?
Yeah.
If you are, the options are there.
Yeah.
If you're not, no matter what I say to you, no matter what, you're never going to be convinced because you've already got a mindset of excuses, and that's the way you live your life. And if that's how you're translating over into your health, that's a worry, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It already has, don't it? It comes down to the programming. For when we were young kids, we were taught that health, and we weren't really, in fact, it was the absence of the importance on health. Well, no one was physically telling us, no, working out is bad for you, healthy eating is bad for you. But what they did do was didn't emphasize it at all. Not even in the slightest. We were eating horrendous foods in school, bro. That Jamie Oliver had to do a whole blooming BBC series or whatever it was on trying to change school meals. Did you see the movement that was behind that? Because one guy suddenly identified that actually school meals are really bad for you. But we ate the meals for 16 years. What do you think it did to us? The amount of unhealthy habits are instilled in us. And then the lack of physical activity, and then now we're going down the route of this body positivity movement. This, if we don't act now, it's going to be too late. There's that movie Wall-E. It's all the big.
Yeah.
How did that happen? It was just
there
was lack of education. They got the screens in front of them, and the screens are just telling them everything's okay.
They're not even walking. They're on these hovering beds that they basically just zoom around.
Yeah, it's insane.
But the future is moving in that direction.
That's the direction we're moving in.
It's like a premonition, but no one's actually awake to the premonition. The same way in the movie, those characters, they don't realize the world they're in. They don't realize how fat they are until they fall off.
Fact is oftentimes scarier than fiction, bro. It's just, it really is. The things that we have now in terms of modern technology,
Right.
even sci-fi movies in the past couldn't predict
You're right.
that we would have technology like this now. So what we're going to have in the future is just impossible to fathom, really, from a technological standpoint. Health is one of them things that if we don't take seriously now, there's no going backwards. This is the thing. Like, once you start going down this path, going backwards, the further down you go, turning around is harder. It's as simple as that. The darker you go into this forest, it's going to take you longer to come out, and it's going to be much harder. Just start making those healthy choices. You have to start making those healthy choices now. If not for you, do it for your kids. People say, I love my kids. I would die for my kids. Live for your kids. You say you would die for them, live for them.
Allah, that's deep.
Do something for them, man. Like, you're going out to work for them all day. They want physically you to be there as well. Do those things. And then make it personal. Do it for yourself. You want to play with your grandkids, but play with your grandkids. Who's stopping you? The only person stopping you playing with your grandkids is you. Because your physicality is literally as simple as that.
I think one thing that would help, going back to what we said, or maybe if this app materializes one day, maybe this will be the way to help you. I'll give you a little notification each day, to remind you. But something as simple as put up post-it notes in your house.
Yeah. My son does this.
And just put simple basic questions on there, or simple basic reminders to you that every decision you make is going to have a consequence.
My 11-year-old does this. He came home from boxing the other day, and he goes, my coach told me that I've got sparring partners, but I need to drop a few kilos so I can be in the same bracket. So when he got home, he wrote it down. I'd lose this much weight by this much time. This is why I've got to do it. It was on the fridge.
Yeah.
And he's measuring out his cereal, weighing things, but he's on it. Just single-minded. If he can do it at 11 years old with no other motivation, then what excuse do you have?
Absolutely. If there's a particular cupboard where the junk food is, just stick a post-it note on there and just ask yourself, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Or, it could be any type of question like that. There's an app that you can use. It's called 1 Sec, right?
Okay.
You can use it to block certain apps, or it puts a delay. So when you open the app, it will open this app first.
Okay.
So I did this, right, on YouTube. YouTube and Instagram at the time.
Okay.
So I use this app, and basically you can customize a message. So I'd put on the fear Allah with your time, just to make sure if I do go on the app, I'm going there for a particular purpose or reason.
Yeah.
I need to post a video, or I need to message someone, I need to do something, just so you don't end up, just wasting time, because that's what they're designed to do, right? That's what the algorithm is made to do. So it's so simple. You just open it, and as soon as you open it, it will open this app instead. You have to wait for the time countdown to finish, and then the message will just be there. It's fear Allah with your time. Sometimes now you realize, actually, I don't even want to do it, and you come off of it. But that's my point. You motivation will get you started. Systems and processes, because what people usually say is motivation will get you started, but discipline will keep you going, right? But even discipline, there's days where you're not going to be disciplined, but systems and processes that you put in place will ensure you stay disciplined. Have a post-it note right next to your bed when you wake up in the morning. The first thing you see is the post-it note that says to you, get out of bed, Fajr is waiting, or something along those lines. That's what you need to do. What are some examples of actual systems that you've implemented with your children to ensure their health? I'll give you one small example for myself, which is my son Yusuf, alhamdulillah, he doesn't eat any chocolate. He actually despises it. Like he doesn't even like the taste of it.
Nice.
From a young age, all I did was, bro, I remember like when he was young age, she said, chocolate, literally, me and my wife, she just say, let's just try it and see what happens.
Mean, bro.
Bro, she just said, chocolate. No. And at that time, me, myself, I wasn't eating chocolate. Do you get it?
Okay.
That's why. So when like family members used to offer, I used to be like, chocolate. And he used to be like, I don't want it.
No, bro.
Even now, like, if he tastes it,
you programmed him.
bro, it tastes so bad for him. And
really?
Wow. Bro, if you ask him, like, I mean, now to me, he's you know, I don't know who got him candy, you know, like jellies.
Right. Yeah, jellies.
But that's even worse than chocolate. That's just purely things. So sometimes, you know, he'll get one or two or here or there, whatever, or like ice cream. You know, he's a kid at the end of the day, right? But it's chocolate specifically, alhamdulillah, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But like I said, I myself at that time was on because I've had phases. So I was on an absolutely no processed sugar and this and that. Now I'll have it every now and again. And even now I come up to me, Abubakr, you're eating chocolate. It's so bad. Your teeth are going to fall out. Like, this is all stuff that I told him. And it was like, maybe for a few months at that time, when I was going through that phase myself, and I just drilled it into him. He's now adopted that lifelong. And inshallah, it stays.
Inshallah.
And at the same time, you know, like the other day, there was someone had a chocolate cake. So he was like, you know, can I try some? I want to try it. I really want it. So I didn't say to him, no, you can't have it. It's chocolate. I said, I'm going to try it. I don't think you're going to like it, though. Because even me, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of, you know, the ones where it's like, there's different layers and it's like...
The Matilda cake.
Plain chocolate cake, I don't mind. I can eat that, like a muffin or, you know, so plain cake. But you know the ones where it's like layers of like cream and then there's like a icing little...
I know the one you're talking about.
Personally, I don't really like them. And I had a feeling he wouldn't either, because he's a very simple, he likes simple thing. But he was really keen and intent. One of the neighbours had given it, I think. So I said to him, okay, hey, here's a spoon. My wife was surprised, like, wait, what are you doing? I said, no, look, if I don't let him have it, he's always going to be wondering, like, what is it? And maybe at some point down the line, he might rebel and think, you know what, I want to try it. I had a very high feeling he would eat and he wouldn't like it. Just I know my son, bro. So I said to him, I gave him a spoon. I said, here, take a spoon of cake. And I gave it to him. He put it in his mouth. He was like, straight away, he pulled a face. He goes, I don't like it. He goes, can I spit it out? Because normally I don't let him spit things out. So once it goes in your mouth, you have to eat it. I said, no problem, go on, you can spit it out. He spit it out to my hand. He was like, I don't like chocolate cake.
No.
Which is, but for me, I was happy.
You had that.
Literally, all I did was, maybe it was at like 2-3 years old, I just said, and even fizzy drinks. He doesn't do fizzy drinks at all.
But it shows that it works, Akhi.
It works.
You know, it does work.
That's black juice. It's going to make your teeth go black and fall out. And he was like, what? Because we don't drink fizzy drinks in our house either.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
And again, till now, he doesn't drink fizzy drinks.
Nice.
So what are some things that we can do as parents that will enforce these behaviors in our children?
I would say one is find some sort of team sport, because you can instill these behaviors into your kids in terms of diet and things like that, but it's usually something that you have to have in yourself as well. So like you said, you know, you don't like chocolate yourself, you know, you kind of pass that down to your child in, you know, in a very direct way, but that is, you had a motivation there. You know, it's very difficult to pass down traits into your children, habits to your children that you yourself don't have. You know, they are literally copying what you do, quite literally. So make changes in yourself, I would say, habitually speaking. Processes and protocols that you can put in place that will help them. Yes, there's many of them. But again, they all fall down to habit. When it comes to diet, it all comes down to habit. So, in terms of, if you're not going to bring certain foods in the house, habitually, you're not going to eat them, your kids are not going to eat them. Yeah. It's very rare that you're going to bring something in the house that you're going to eat and your kids aren't going to eat. So, you know, I can't really think of anything, you know, from chocolate bars to, bro, my kids started drinking my protein shakes and they have my creatine and stuff.
But it's funny, they ask, well, no, this is adults only, you can't.
So it's a bit like, you know, it's an odd one, but...
they're going to follow your example.
They're going to follow your example. Like the other day, bro, I had these boiled eggs. I made 6 boiled eggs and I was going to have them for my evening, like, just snack. And my son Muhammad goes, oh, I want some boiled eggs. And he got 3 and had, I'm like, he just sat there eating boiled eggs with me. I'm like, and he's trying to cut weight at the moment, so he's kind of very healthy mindset, and he's looking for healthy foods and options. But he's doing that because he can see me having boiled eggs instead of chocolate, or instead of some sort of pakore or samosas or whatever. I've ordered boiled eggs, I'm gonna eat them, and that's it. So, what can you do in terms of physicality then? In terms of first thing you look at, I would say, is team sports to ensure that they stay consistent, because this will create consistency. They'll see peers, comrades, it'll be that. People are doing it with them. There'll be competition. All these things will drive them towards sticking to the sport and trying to become better at that sport. Yeah, that's one thing I would say look for. Try not to do like sports that involve them being very singled out on their own. Running's an example. There's a few, but there's a lot of team sports now that can really get involved in. One of the best things that I can recommend in terms of sports is gymnastics. Overall, it builds strength, flexibility, mobility, cardio, everything.
It's interesting because I've always associated gymnastics as a very feminine thing.
Yeah, bro. Meet some male gymnasts. Holy moly. Like, unbelievable levels of strength, bro. And if you look at male gymnasts, next time watch Olympics, bro, look at the next time you watch Olympics, bro, those male gymnasts, bro, they're all buff. Strength levels. Calisthenics, that is essentially gymnastics to a certain extent, yeah. But the thing with gymnastics specifically is it creates a lot of mobility, creates a lot of flexibility, a lot of balance work, things that you really need functionally day to day in your life. And if you can maintain that over long periods of time, you're going to create longevity, good quality of life. Okay, so gymnastics I highly recommend. Things like jiu-jitsu are fantastic, boxing are fantastic, because again, your team building as well as individual combat sports, they're very functional. Jiu-jitsu I spoke about earlier, if you've seen studies, it helps improve their IQ as well, helps improve their school and their academic performance. So that's been shown to do that. But yeah, once you put them in clubs and groups and these kind of things, it becomes a consistent thing.
What age would you recommend starting? Especially with these things like gymnastics, because
age 5 onwards. Studies show up until 5, let them play.
Okay.
Up until 5, their physical fitness should come from playing. Okay. Nothing guided, nothing specific. And then we say 5 onwards, we put them in team sports. And then we say, I think it's 12 onwards, we then put them into something more individualistic, specific for themselves.
It's interesting you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So my kids started jiu-jitsu at age 5.
So you wouldn't recommend starting it? I mean, my son's like 4.5.
Yeah, a lot of it's how much instruction can they take?
He's very good. He listens,
then I'll get him started.
Sometimes they're a bit. I'll give you an example, right? So there's like a trampoline park kind of thing near where we live, and like last month I think it was, or maybe I think it's been about 5 weeks now, 5-6 weeks. We just took him there just for he went to run around, jump around, and they mentioned, we got a course that's just started. It's like a 10-week course, once a week, and we teach them certain jumps and flips and this and that. And obviously at that age, at 4 years old, it's very basic. But I thought, it'd be a good opportunity for him, to learn and to learn some skills and also be physically fit. And it's a group class as well, right, with other kids similar age. So he's been going for the last 5-6 weeks, and one thing that he didn't like, that I could tell, is some of the things he couldn't really do. Like, for example, right, and there's one where I feel like it would actually hurt, where you're jumping on a trampoline and then you have to jump on your back and then jump back up.
Okay, yeah.
But because he doesn't fully grasp it, it's like he'll jump on his back, he'll land on his neck, his neck, or on his lower back, and it will actually hurt, and he'll get up. And one time he came out almost in tears. I couldn't do it. And even some of the other stuff where it's like they were jumping on their knees, hands and knees, and straight onto their back. Then you get up and you do a twist. Yeah. A lot of the kids are older and they're actually doing it. Yeah. A lot of the kids his age, because there's maybe 3 or 4 other kids his age, but they're not even they
can't do anything.
They're just walking around, touching the netting, and they're just kicking the ball around. They're not even doing it at all. Yeah. He's actually trying. Yeah. He's paying attention. He's got the focus along.
He's in that weird spot where he's not there.
But he wasn't there, and so couple times now. I think last week was the first time I noticed it. On the day we were going to leave, I said, "Come, let's go. We're going to go to the." He's like, he said to me, "I don't want to go." I said, "Well, why? So much fun and the teacher and this and that." And he was like, "Oh, I don't like it because I don't know how to do it." Yeah. But he's got a very, one thing I've drilled into him is never give up. So he said, "I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up." but it hurts me, So then I took him there yesterday, and he was doing it, he was kind of trying his best and he couldn't do it fully properly. And then at one point they started playing, like, they were quiet. This is a separate issue that I had with them, where the second time I went, they had this mad music on, bro. And it was so loud. Well, I felt like a club.
Oh, really?
And I remember I asked them to turn the music off. And first they were like, oh no, customers, the other people, they want it.
Yeah.
And this, we're in Sharjah, by the way, bro. It's not even Dubai.
Was in Sharjah,
This is
really?
in Sharjah,
Okay.
bro. And what happened is they said, oh, cool, we'll turn it down because other customers have requested music or something. I don't know. I'm sitting there, bro, and I'm listening, and I realized, bro, they're playing it was Jay-Z.
Oh, no.
And bro, the guy's effing,
Oh, my days.
S-word, N-word, bro.
Oh, my days. Right.
I went across for the manager just straight away. I said, what on earth are you doing? Like, this is a kids' play place, and you're out here flipping this music, which, forget about music, is haram. That's a separate issue. Why are you playing music with the N-word? And he's like, what? No, we don't do that at all, and this and that. Well, no, bro, it's not allowed. I said, bro, what do you mean? It was just on just now. Like, you know, and I mentioned the track, because I know the track from back in the days. And he was like, oh, no, what? No, I'll check it, this, that, blah, blah. You know what? Actually, on Fridays, we turn it off anyway because it's the prayer day or something like that. And he goes, oh, we'll turn it off. So from then onwards, every Friday when I was going, I came in and I asked, well, you know, the music, can you turn it down? And they turned it off. O'clock, alhamdulillah, now. So every week now they've turned it off. Even yesterday, they had it off. But then half through the session, around 2:30, they just turned it back on. Like, they turned the music on. And again, it was loud. It's like a club, bro. I don't understand. Like, why do you need to do that when there's kids here? So I remember again, that combined with the fact that I could tell he wasn't really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the fact that this brother, who we were going to go to the gym, Amin, I saw his timings for the kids. It's called the Young Cubs BJJ.
Yeah.
It was the same time as that. So even when I spoke to him about it, I said, you know what? He's got 4 weeks left of this trampoline academy, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Once he finishes that, then I'm going to get him started.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I said to myself, bro, I said to him, listen, let's go out to the park. He was happy. He was like, okay, let's go to the park instead. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm just going to cancel it. Cool, I've paid 1,000 dirhams, whatever it was, for the 10 sessions. But I don't care, bro. For me, number one, his enjoyment and his health is important. But number two, the fact that you might want to play this music, I said, bro, I don't even want to be here, you know, in this kind of environment. So I took him out and I'm going to take him there now. But one thing that was playing around in my mind is he too young to be involved? Because what I don't want to, I want to push him to the edge of his limits, but I don't want to go above that, because that's disheartening when you're actually trying to do things and you can't do it.
You can't really go above that.
But how did so?
Because kids stop. So kids are known for that. The thing about kids I love how honest they are in their actions.
Yeah.
When a kid can't go any further, they'll just stop because they're excited. Mom and dad's here. Like, I'm not in the big wide world. Like, mom and dad are here. They're gonna save me. I'm gonna be good. Like, I'm like this. I see it.
So do you feel like I did the right thing by saying to him, you know what, don't do it anymore? Like, because he himself was saying, I don't enjoy it. I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. Your reasoning for him stopping that wasn't anything that he was quitting or it was physical. It probably wasn't good for him in one way, and it didn't outweigh the benefit of him actually learning that physical sport. Does that make sense? Like, for example, if I send my kids to boxing, and whilst they're boxing, the coach is very aggressive and he's teaching them a very violent way of doing it, because some coaches do. Some coaches just have a natural tendency to be a bit more aggressive. So they might be teaching that sport in a very specific way. Cobra Kai, you know? Or, you know, they could be the great coach, great ethics. I very much put certain coaches around my kids that I know ethically they're very sound. They're very good men as well, you know? So you have to kind of weigh that up, don't you? Is it just about the physical sport, or is it just about, you know, what they're benefiting from mentally as well? Because they both overlap. So for you made the right decision, yes, but never worry about the fact that you're going to physically overdo them. You're going to physically push them too much. Most sports, they will just stop, and then you'll know their limit.
Because I remember that day when I saw him do the jump on his back.
Yeah.
He hurt himself and he came to me like almost crying. And I said to him, just go back, you can do it. But I felt bad because I know my son. If I tell him go back, he'll keep going back even if he breaks his neck. But that's where I was just like, you know what, maybe he's a bit too young for this at this age right now. We can come back to this another time or something similar and do something else, which is why, like I said, when I found out about the brother Amin with the BJJ gym, even though it's in Dubai and it's far from me, like given... Just hearing him talking about the environment that they do is fully Islamic. Like, they've got segregated women's section.
Mashallah, nice.
You know, for the kids. And he goes, bro, our focus is the tarbiyah of the children, not just the physical aspect. We're there to teach them discipline, manners, teamwork, all these other things. Respect come before all the physical element side of things.
Bro, the amount of tears I saw on the mouth of my kids. The amount of tears, bro. So my boys used to go to this, it's a competition class because they were competing as well in BJJ. They went to a very specialist competition class where very high level kids who are training at high level go to.
What ages?
At that time, I think like 7 or 8 they were, But
And how long had they been doing it for?
From about age 5 onwards, so a couple of years. And this class was 4 hours long, by the way. It was a 4-hour class on a Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, and bro, all it was just rolling with these high level kids that travel around the world and do jiu-jitsu, bro. And they just beat everybody around. They literally go around the world and they just beat everybody. These kids, they're like savages. So they're stuck in with these kids, yeah. And they're just tears after tears, bro. Either they're tapping somebody out, someone's tapping them out, and it's just, oh, bro. And bro, I just push them back on the mat. They get back on the mat, finish your rolls, finish your sessions. At the end of the day, they come home, I put them in a hot bath. They love it. They've got a great dopamine release. They've achieved. Bro, even if they've broken their arm, they're like, you know what? We just got through in the competition session. We did it. That's how they feel.
Have you had your children break arms in?
No. They've done, alhamdulillah. They've done it in other silly and wonderful, weird ways. But typically, alhamdulillah, they've never had any serious injuries like that. Because, you trust them as safe people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what I say to my kids, I have this one rule, that they have to train. There's no choice. They don't have to compete. So my younger child, Muhammad, he competes. He likes going to competitions and competing and boxing and amateur fights. Faris doesn't like to do any competitions. Even though he could, he just doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He's a bit lazy like that. But I say to him, look, it's fine. You don't need to compete. But you don't have a choice in training. You have to train. That is it.
I love that.
But yeah, instill these things. And then, the other issue that we don't do as fathers is we don't instill certain levels, just simple disciplinary stuff into them. Simple routines and protocols. Because, when they're following the small rules, following the big rules are easy. Like, for example, with my kids, I have a very specific thing with them, very specific. You kit yourself and then you can relax. It's a very specific thing in them.
You mentioned this on the Road to Hijrah.
For them, I've instilled it in them. Like, they come home, they've got their boxing kit with them. The first thing to do is go sort the boxing kit out. They've got the glove, air dryers, put them in, put your shorts or t-shirts in the wash. They've got to go in the wash. They do this. The mum doesn't do this. They have to do this. Yeah. If they've got boots that need sorting out, delacing, do all that, put it away. Now you've done that. Okay, now go shower up. That's done now. Okay?
What age
now
do you start with this?
From 4 or 5 years old, bro. As soon as they can communicate with you, they've got a communication. With Maryam, I've just started it. Her communication, her language was a slight delay. She's very intelligent girl, mashallah, just a slight delay in language. But now that she can understand me, she's seeing the side of me she doesn't like. Because she's been princess this whole time. But now she's seeing the other side of me that she doesn't really like. I'm getting to do things. But it's for her own good, and she knows it's for her own good. But there's no arguments. Now, when I ask them to do a bigger thing, they'll do it. Like, they're doing all the small rules. Now, when I say, okay, we're going to go for a 5K run, there's no talking about it. You're just going to go do it. You got another jiu-jitsu class. They're going to do it. You got a boxing class the next day. Bro, they're doing jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. They're doing boxing 3 times a week. They're doing Thai boxing twice a week. They've just stopped Dagestani wrestling twice a week. Like, they're physical kids. Like, they're constantly active. But why are they constantly doing it? Like, sometimes they don't want to, bro. Like, I get this argument all the time. I don't want to today. I'm aching too much. It's too much. It's hurting me too much. No. Like, we're not going to argue about this. Get in the car. We're going. And alhamdulillah, there's no arguments because small rules are done. The big rules follow.
Do you ever break the rule though? Like, is there ever a time where?
Yeah, you got to be a dad as well, innit, man? At the end of the day, you're not their drill sergeant. You're not their.
That's my point.
Commander. Yeah. I taught this really funny thing. Yeah. It happened kind of like almost instinctively. We used to go in the woods a lot, and I used to hate the fact they'd all shouting across the woods at each other because it gave me a bit of anxiety. Like from my army days, it gave me this anxiety. We should be silent when going through the woods. So I taught them hand signals. So now when we're going through the woods, bro, we use hand signals, and even out and about.
What's an example of a hand signal?
So for example, like I'll be like that, regroup on me, and they'll see it from far away. Yeah, and I can see Muhammad getting Faris, and then Abu's calling. I'm not saying anything to them. They're just in the hands, they'll come to me, and people spot sick. It, bro, and they find it so weird.
Bro, that's wicked.
I do like this one, like quiet. They don't want talking, and they just go quiet. I'll do this one. They'll stop behind me if they're walking. It's just, and it works. My daughter struggles with it. She doesn't like it, but in the sense that they've learned the hand signals, they know what they are, and it just saves me shouting and screaming, bro. Just follow the hand signals and they'll see it a mile away, and people think it's weird. I love it. When people spot it, they're like, what's this guy doing? Why is kids doing this? But yeah, the kids, you can really train them. You can really, really train them exactly as you want. Or you can give them the iPad and you do your thing and they'll do their thing. And the iPad will train them. You know, I kind of mentioned this in it. One of the stepkids, he about age 9, I think he was. I think he was younger. You know, where they found the pornography at that age, bro. How?
Oh, so
He was
9.
8. Yeah, he was 8 or 9. I think he had just turned 9. But at that tender age, bro, to have access to those things. Why? Because we allow it. We allow it, bro. How can you blame the child? We allow them to have these things. You know.
You facilitate it.
Yeah, bro. Would we? If imagine when we were young and we didn't have these devices, the way you'd access these materials, you'd have to go to the shop and buy those dirty magazines.
And you'd have to be over a certain age.
Yeah.
To buy them.
Imagine would a parent take their child, allow them to pick this up along with all the sweets and all the good stuff, and put this inside the pile and say, "I'm buying all of this for my child," and give it to the child, and then say, "You chill with that. I'm gonna go do my thing."
No, never.
That'd be unimaginable. But that is effectively what you're doing when you're giving them that device.
And access, and regardless of the parental controls you might have on there, there's ways. You said these kids managed to do it on the school iPad,
bro. This was the mad thing,
which is supposed to be the most like filtered and safe way of,
you know, what must they have been looking for? Yeah, what for me, I was trying to work out at the time was what were they looking? What keywords? What wording were they using to circumvent the security? Like these clever kids.
No, you'd be surprised. Even I remember, like, you know, when we were kids, we used to find ways to. Back then, it was like we went to watch wrestling, watch a movie, you know, and you had to, you know, disable the parental blocker, and like, you know. Or one time, I remember even like at my auntie's house or something, like we hacked into the admin account, like we had the children account which was blocked. But then I remember we just looked at the my uncle's his account, and his hint was something like.
It was probably the password.
Date of birth, or no, it says something like that. So I just tried it and it worked, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And then, you know, we ended up watching movies. I think it was like back then. I actually remember the movie. It was 300. You know, the smart movie.
Yeah.
We really wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, we just heard about it. So one of those dodgy, you know, watch movies online for free websites or whatever. So we watched it, and then we watched a bit of wrestling, and then we didn't think nothing of it. But unbeknownst to us, one of my other cousins, the younger one, I think was the younger one or something, I can't remember, I had found out, and then they told the parents, and it caused a big issue, you know, at the time. But my point is, without getting too lost in the sauce, is, bro, children are a lot smarter than you think. And these safeguards that you think are in place, and you think that you've managed to, you know, block out everything, you haven't.
You haven't.
And there's always a way around it, whether it's, you know, like, bro, if massive billion-dollar companies can get hacked. Like right now, I think Jaguar Land Rover, I don't know if they're still hacked, but they literally came to a stop. They couldn't fulfill any orders. They couldn't manufacture any of their cars because all of the IT systems got hacked. Yeah. And most of the time, it just comes down to calling or emailing one employee and getting them to click on one link.
Yeah.
There's a human element to it.
Yeah.
Your child might see one day you putting in the admin, you know, password onto the device, the 4-digit code, wherever it might be, and you don't even realize it. They're logging into your account to access the internet without you knowing.
Bro, you know what? I said a lot of parents, one of the biggest things that people complain about on Apple is my kid bought something without my permission. My kid bought this, Bro, if they are buying stuff without your permission, what do you think they're watching and looking at and talking to without your permission?
Bro, there's a funny video, man, where there's a dad and he's just laughing because the guy comes to the door. He says, "You ordered a pizza?" And he's like, "No, I didn't order a pizza." He's like, "Yeah, look here." And he checks it and he asks his wife, like, "Did you order pizza?" She's like, "No." "What? What's going on there?" So he's confused. The kid comes in, "Oh yeah, I ordered it." And the dad's like, "What? Why have you ordered the pizza?" And he's like, "Oh, because, you know."
I bet it is to Alexa.
I can't remember what it was, but he just wanted the pizza and he just ordered it. And it's like, you don't realize, and it's good in a way. These kids are smart.
Yeah.
They're intelligent. They're problem solvers.
Yeah.
Like if they can navigate get them into cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Get them into these things where they can actually enjoy solving these problems. But instead, you just live in a little bubble and think they're safe, and you know, I've got that online safety, and there's all these different issues, man. Sheikh, we're coming to the end of the time. Any last things you want to mention on this particular topic that you feel like are important that we haven't touched upon yet?
Yeah. Family exercise.
Family exercise. Yeah. Do fitness together with them. Don't send them to classes. Don't just do it on your own. Make it an activity together. Like I trained yesterday with your wife and your son.
Yeah, all of you. You and your children. No, you and your children. You're the unit. 100%. You know, as a unit, it's not a problem. You know, but even if it's just you and your sons or you and just one of your kids, like that is very important. Yeah, it not just physically creates a bond between you. You know, it's a chemical bond. You create an emotional bond. You can really be there for them in a physical situation, which you might not get an opportunity to do so. How often are you there for your kids when they're struggling physically? They're on the floor with them, telling them, come on, you can do it. Give me a couple more press-ups. Come on, you can do it. It creates some strong bonds, bro.
So-
It creates a lot of trust. When they can come to you with physical issues and trust you with that, they can come to you with emotional issues. So really kind of get stuck in with fitness with them. Yeah.
No, you're right. Absolutely. And that will improve your relationship with your spouse as well, which
No, of course,
has a massive impact on your
Absolutely,
children
bro.
and them growing up
Absolutely.
and seeing that healthy relationship.
You know, like even like with your spouse, like you say, bro, with the second missus, that was one of the biggest things, working out together. You know, it really did help. And it fixed a lot of issues that you'd have in communication by just doing a workout together. You know, you could really talk through therapy with it. You know, I actually encourage a lot of PTs that I know to actually go and learn to become counseling therapists as well, because the two go so well hand in hand. Think about when you're with your PT, bro, you talk about everything. It all comes out because you're releasing so much dopamine, oxytocin at the same time. Your anxiety levels drop. You're able to speak freely.
I've never had a PT, but I've had gym buddies who
Gym
I
buddies,
go gym with.
yeah, same thing.
And yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so when you're working out with your missus, bro, your
You're right.
communication goes into the roof. Through the roof.
So even this brother, again, coming back to him again, he mentioned the BJJ thing. So the gym that he goes to, he goes like, bro, most of the people that come are families. Because you got separate women's side.
Yeah, nice.
So you got the children will come, the missus will come, the man will come. They're all training separately.
Yeah.
And he used to tell me a funny story of how there was a sister and she popped her husband's knee. Like they went home just to practice, you know, what they were learning. She accidentally popped his knee, you know, while they were doing it. It wasn't that bad. He got it, you know, sorted. But he was just saying, like, it's a beautiful thing to see. You know, people coming as a family and trying it, and it's important, man. Because as you said, number one, as the father, you set the pace for the household. Whatever habits and things you're doing, they will trickle down.
Yeah.
But then the mother as well, you know, the children will probably spend more time with her, especially in the early years, than they do with you.
Their mum does jiu-jitsu, and she's kind of addicted to it, bro. She does it too much, if anything. Yeah, and the kids see it. My daughter, she loves it, but it's because she's seeing her mum doing it. You know, she's very active. She's very fit. My kid, you know, it's a really, really good quality to have.
SubhanAllah.
You know, really good quality to have. Physical fitness.
Barakallah feek, man. Jazakallah khair for the insights. Definitely enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to do something more, man. You know, founding fathers, I feel like there needs to be a offline element to it as well.
Got life in the day for founding father.
No, but like some kind of retreat or you know, fatherhood retreat or something where it's like bring the kids.
Like a dads and lads one.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think a dads and lads day out would be really good.
Day out or something. Start something small, but I feel like, honestly...
Or dads and lads fitness class, dads and lads run, dads and lads MMA session.
I haven't felt this way about something in a very long time.
Yeah.
Like this founding fathers thing, inshallah, I believe this is going to be...
It can be big, bro. We could even have like a founding fathers, like bushcraft day. Everyone will enjoy that.
All
they
of
love
that,
that, bro.
There's so much. And I feel like, alhamdulillah, Allah's put the right people in place for this to work, inshallah. And, you know, may Allah bless you for your time. Jazakallah khair for coming. With that said, my brothers, may Allah make it easy for you. Remember, it's a journey. No one's perfect. We're all on the journey. Just the same way when it comes to the deen, you might sin and fall off, but the door of Tawbah is always open. Likewise, you might try and become healthy and then you go back to your old ways. No problem. It's never too late to start. The only time it's going to be too late is when you're dead. If you're still alive and you're watching this, you've got time. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how unhealthy you are. I don't care what stage you're at. Take today as the first day of action. You might stumble and fall, no problem. Get back up and go again. With that said, we'll see you on the next episode of the Founding Fathers podcast. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.